Well, welcome back to another episode of the Be Blunt Show, the podcast. Now, what we're doing today is going to be a little different. We're going to freestyle this, right? I've had a lot of conversations with comedians uh, about the way things are set up in the city. The way things are set up in whether it's Austin or the way things are set up in San Antonio, it's wild what is going on. In every city, I'm sure there are a group of cliques, right? Like every area has their groups of cliques, like people they grew up with, people that they've been doing stand up for a long time with, and they've gone through the ringer, right? I've seen those type of communities. It was like that when I moved to Tampa. It was like that when, excuse me, when I lived in Colorado, right? There's always, it always seems to have their own little groups. And when I got here to Austin, I did not expect those same things to happen. And boy, was I wrong. There's just a new element added to the cliques. Like, for one, I get it, right? You've been here for a long time and you've paid whatever magical or non-realistic dues you've paid to get to a certain area or a certain level, and we'll get into it a little bit further soon. But to look down on people is premature. Like, I've seen a lot of people that come from other places to come here and reinvent themselves. That come here and based on longevity, right? Not off of being good, not off of being innovative, right? Just for longevity. Just because you've been here longer, you have the audacity to look down on those that just went through that are going through what you've been through. Like, there are a group of comedians that look down on, like, there's a freaking, is it a sphere? I don't know, man. I'm not into that shit. But listen, there's circles. There's the major circle where you have your Rogans and your Holtzmans and Hinchcliffs and Simpsons and Lucases and the regular names that you see consistently at the mothership. Like, you have those core. Then you have the outer core of those that come into town, those that frequent the club but are not always getting spots there, right? And then you have the open micers. No, before then you have the crew people, right? The crew people trying to get spots consistently in the spot, and then you have the outside open micers, and then you have the homeless people. I don't know, and that's just that particular place. And I know that a lot of people come out here and like, yo, I want to get past. I want to get passed by Adam. And when I first got here, yes, I wanted the same thing. I just chose, like, when you know how Steve Urkel used to be always at Laura's spot? Like, consistently trying to impress Laura consistently. And always was looked at a certain way. Like, that's how I feel. That's how comedians, like when I'm watching them and how they interact, that's how they look and feel. Like, I'm passionate about comedy. Like, I'm one of the, like, me specifically, I know that I consume more content. I put out more content. I work harder when it comes to writing jokes, figuring jokes out, putting other opportunities in. Like, I do as much as I can under the umbrella of comedy because they say that's what you're supposed to do to get to that next level. So everything you say I need to be doing, damn it, I'm doing that shit. But what I won't do, and I'm done, like, after a certain time, some clicks, you just turn off the give a fuck meter. And realize that you are the fucking vessel. Like, I'm done sitting around waiting. I'm not doing none of these fucking bullshit ass, like, mics where you try to embarrass a nigga. Like none of this shit is gonna fly no more. Like, my focus is being funny, being the funniest nigga in the city. Every time I go on stage, I'm about to rip it. No matter where it is, no matter what city, that's how I'm rocking. From this point forward, no more taking it light and like, hey, calm down because you know you be wilding on stage. Fuck, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna wild out what? And I'm gonna go hard every fucking time. They say, be undeniably funny. That's the goal. Like, go out there, work hard, and be undeniably funny, and doors are open. Well, right now, you got a whole bunch of doormen with the door closed. But it's all good. These doormen ain't gonna be doormen forever, right? And you gotta love and respect the doormen, because I mean, a lot of the greats have been doormen. I would love to be a doorman, but only at one fucking club. The other two clubs I don't give a fuck about no more. Like, are they even wanting black comics? Like, when you got a white friend that can name all the black friends, that tells me you ain't got enough black friends. I'm just spitting my shit right now. Like, I'm not finna get up on stage and make fun of black people. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna get on stage and I'm gonna make fun of white people. I'm gonna get on stage and I'm gonna make fun of women. But if you think I'm gonna go up there and make fun of my people, you sadly mistaken. That's just what it is. I hope that things get better, man. I hope that what is said to be going to happen happens. Right? They say work hard, shit'll pop for you. So we'll see. We'll keep pushing it. We'll keep pushing the envelope. And keep rocking every stage we get on. I got a lot of cool things in the making, man. Like, I can't wait for an agent. I gotta start booking myself. And I've heard no a couple of times, man. It ain't nothing to be like, well, they said no, let's move to the next one. I'm watching the comedians that I like and seeing where they're going and performing. I'm hitting those places up. There's a lot of good comedians out there. And I think that without them getting the proper opportunity, you'll never know who they are and they'll get discouraged and they'll quit. I think that we as a community have a obligation to stop bullshit from happening. Like, this is what I think. I think that, and I'm gonna name the clubs because I don't fucking care. I think that the Creek, Sunset, and the Mothership all it's that all I don't even have to say it because everybody knows. It's just when you have, like, you ever heard the expression that the prisoners are running the asylum? I had to let that breathe for a minute. I had to let that sit. Like, I want the community to win. I want really good comedians to get really good opportunities. And maybe it's going to take some time for that to happen. Because there's a lot of talent in the city. A lot. And these guys are out here working their ass off, man. And they're not connected to these clubs that I said. They're just out here working hard. So shout out to all of y'all that's doing that, man. I'm proud of each and every one of y'all. Anybody out here that moved out here for a dream, knowing that this shit is what they're going to be doing, and that are out here still doing it, man, I commend the fuck out of you because this shit ain't easy. This shit ain't easy, man. How do y'all feel about motherfuckers not writing their own jokes? I know it's like big in rap, right? Like in rap, if you don't write your lyrics, they be like, nigga, are you really that nigga? So do you feel like if you don't write your own jokes, you're not a good comedian? I know a celebrity, she a female, and she been on like Tyler Perry movies and shit, and she don't write her own jokes. So does it discredit your legacy if you don't write your own jokes? I think you're a fraud if you out here spitting other people's lyrics, nigga. Like you know at the end of a special it says written by and performed by, it ain't gonna have your name there. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm wild. Maybe I'm crazy. But I thought you were supposed to be like, that's your intellectual thoughts that you're putting out to the audience. And the audience is able to see things from your point of view. Like what determines, Like, what is, yeah, let me see. What determines a great comedian? What are your top thoughts of like, what makes a great comedian? Like, they gotta be energetic for me, right? Like, they gotta be energetic. They gotta be clever. They gotta be clever. They gotta be, they gotta say some wild shit, some shit that people normally ain't used to hearing. They gotta say some of that shit. They gotta be controversial. They gotta be controversial. And last, they gotta be like, it's gotta be bold. Bold enough to say it. That's what I think makes a great comedian. All of the above. Like, there's no, like, each comedian's different too, right? Each comedian has a different style. I was watching Godfrey today and was just like, I get it. I see why he does well, right? And I was watching Red Fox, and I got what he did well, and understood what made him, a household name. I've been studying, man. I watched the documentary of Sam Kinison. And if you haven't seen the documentary of Sam Kinison, please sit down and have some popcorn and a soda. And you're going to be like, wow. You got, I did the documentary of Joan Rivers, and to be a young woman in a man's game, and I know, she was white, so she had more privileges than us black people, even especially these black women. But for her to go head to head with Johnny Carson is kind of gangster. It's kind of motherfucking gangster. I did a documentary of Roseanne, and it was more so like the darker side of comedy on how she just didn't give a fuck. She was an innovative individual. And what can I learn for all of these, right? I can learn a lot. I study comedy. Me and Smokey Suarez was talking, and he was like, yo, you know who Mitch is? And I was like, you mean Mitch Hedberg? He was like, yeah. He said, that motherfucker was funny. And if you don't know who Mitch Hedberg is, you gotta Google your fucking comedians, man. You gotta, excuse me, you gotta Google the greats. You gotta Google the non-greats. There's so many, Rodman as a comedian is so fucking funny, and he is so underrated. I study this shit. It's because I want to get better. And ain't no way you can get better without watching some of the people that have done the things that you want to do and did it well. And did it at a time where it wasn't even fucking supposed to be being done. I'm in a really different part of my life to where trying to be accepted by a group doesn't fucking bother me anymore. And that I know that the consumer is the person that I'm trying to get to come see me. So all I'm gonna do is continue to work extremely hard and see where the chips fall, right? I don't know what I'm doing. I just know that I'm consistent at being funny. I'm consistent at working hard. I'm consistent at creating content. I'm consistent at promoting myself. And before all is said and done, man, I'm gonna look back at this and be like, yo, I remember them dark nights. I remember them late nights. I remember driving an hour and a half. I remember driving 3 hours to go do open. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna remember this and look back and say, it was well worth it. With my Asian wife on her knees giving me a